Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So today I'm going to be making a few of these little pockets. I've made them out of little sandwich bags and they are lovely. Now I'm not worried about the back because I'm going to actually stick this to a page of one of my journals or the next journal I'm going to make. Now I found these as I was rummaging through all my stash, and they're just sort of like little sort of sandwich bags which are great. So I thought I would use one today, so I'm going to show you how because I want to do a couple more. I'm using the Vintage and Shabby book embellishment digital kit that I've got, which is lovely. Now if you saw the video yesterday, I did some little paper clips which are beautiful. Now this is the size of the journal that I want to make, and these pockets, I've just cut it down a little bit, fit really well on the page. So I've got a pocket here, I've got a pocket in there, and then I've got a big one at the back, and I would just stick that to the page like that, which is great. So I'm going to make another one. So I'm going to start again with the envelope, not an envelope, it is a little bag, so I'm just going to quickly measure it for you. So that's 12 centimeters or 4 3/4 inches, and the length is 8 3/4 inches or about 22 centimeters. So really just a nice little perfect size to fit on the page. Now what I'm going to do, let me just bring this down. This is the size of the page, so I'm going to just cut a little bit off, say about that much. Shall I just measure that? That's going to be about 6.5 centimeters or about 2.5 inches. Just snip that off because it's a little bit too long. So I'm just going to cut that down. But what I am going to do, what I did on the other one, I just opened this up and I cut just down this bit like there, and on this side I'm all nice and covered in gesso already today. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this just to that front bit, just so it reinforces that bit, because I want to pop a little notch in there. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to use the other bit because that's got like a fold in it. So let's just take this side. Be easier to stick down then. And pop that on. So just going to get a little bit of glue, just a little bit of my tacky glue. Now I need to refill this one. So I'm just going to do a little bit of paint and gesso on this envelope, just to sort of grunge it just a little bit. So let's just stick that just so it's level with that top piece. Like that. And again, you don't have to do this. Now I'm sure lots of you have got these little paper bags. I do believe they're pretty much everywhere. I think I just got these from the local cheap shop. Like I do when I'm out and about, I pick them up just in case. They're like little just in cases, aren't they? Or just something nice to pop in your stash. Because we can all do with a little paper bag. You could probably just have one, you know, if you get something, some of your shopping or something in there, or some of your food packaging might come in little paper bags you could use. Because we're going to sort of cover it up. Right, so that really just reinforces that little bit there. Perfect. Now I'm going to use a little bit of book paper as well. So shall I put the book paper on first? I can't remember what I did. I think I did. Now, I'm going to just take another bit of this, but look at this lovely cover. I will be using that as a journal, I think, at some point. Some of these pages are sort of stuck together, but it doesn't matter. I suppose I can use that. So what should we do? Stick that on. Let's just rip that here. I'm going to pop this on first, and then should I put this bit on the bottom? Let's go this way. Then I can just level that up Oops. Just take that little bit off. Perfect. Let's just glue this on. Okay, well, I hope you guys are having a lovely weekend, or have had a lovely weekend. We have actually got sunshine out today. It's absolutely beautiful. So when I have done this video, we are going to go for a nice walk. We're going to pop down to the beach. It's still chilly, but it's not cold. It's not raining. It's sunshine, beautiful sunshine out there. So I don't want to waste that. So I'm going to pop these on there. Not that you really see these because I'm going to cover them up, but you might see a little bit. So it's sort of like that collage. You never know whether you're going to cover it up or not. So using sort of things like book paper and stuff, it doesn't matter if you do cover it up, if you know what I mean. Perfect. There we go. Lovely. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up. Now I'm going to glue. These have got like little gusset bits in there. So I'm going to glue this front bit to the front of the bag. So you've just sort of like opened this back piece, if you know what I mean. Well, it's going to, these pieces are going to stick down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in this way with my glue and try and get down as far as I can. Oh, I need to refill my glue again. Let's just go in there, in there like that. Squash that down. Just then, so this back piece opens up like that and these stick down. Okay. Now let us just pop a little notch in here. If I can get that in. What do you reckon? About middle? Roughly. That's roughly the middle, isn't it? Let's stick that back down. A little bit of ink. I quite like this sort of like bit at the top where it's all sort of like jaggedy. Shall we just ink around? That's a little bit of ink. So yes, I'm trying to get ready, get a few little bits. So I'm going to make another journal, but it's not going to be, I'm going to be, oh, it's got bits everywhere. It's going to be more one for sort of like writing in, not too many embellishment-y bits in there. I'm just making like the paper clips, so when, if you've got something you can just paper clip in, or little pockets just to pop stuff in. I think that will be nice. So it's going to be sort of like book themed, so if it's a great one to make if you have friends or family that like to read, because then they can sort of like, you know, write down what books they've read in it, or little notes that they want to keep about books or something like that, which I think is nice. Now where's the lid? Let's pop those over there. That will do for now. Now I do have a little bit of lace here, which I am going to put on. Take this one out here, look, I'll put some on the bottom, and I've also popped it on the inside of the pocket there, which I think looks really nice. And then we've got the little pocket there. So while this is drying, I'm going to do this, and while it's drying I will sort out the bits and pieces we're going to stick on the top. So I'm going to use a little bit of gesso. So this is just the Galleria white gesso primer, just a little bit. Let's just, and I'll stick this down in a minute because I think I might sew along there. So let's just add a little bit of gesso on here, just like that. We only want it around the outside because I'm going to pop stuff on the middle. Pop a piece of paper. Now if you're not going to stick this into your journal, then obviously you can do the back, but these are going to be stuck on, so I'm not going to bother about the back of it. Okay, let's do that. And then I've got this beautiful pastel pink. So this just says it's light pink. Now I might just quickly just dry that a second. Okay, let's just add a little bit of pink. I'm adding the pink because I want it to be a little bit sort of shabby, a little sort of shabby look to it. Oops. Put the lid on. And this is a really pretty pink. Just move it round. There we go. And I think I've got, let's have a look. This one is antique white. So let's just pop a little bit, just a little bit around the edges. Then I will add a little bit of ink to this as well. Let's just, oops, I don't want too much inside because it will get stuck. There we go. Right, before I add the ink, I will dry that again. There we go. Perfect. Love it. Make sure we're not stuck down. Lovely. Now I'm going to use some of this, which is the burnt umber. This is with the Liquitex ones, which I haven't used for a while. So let's just pop a little bit of, just a little bit around the edges. Let's get our card. Don't worry about it if it looks messy, because this is just sort of like the background. You don't see a lot of it anyway. There we go. What do you reckon? Nice and messy. Let's give that another dry. Let's pop these bits to the side because we don't need those now. Lovely. Do you think we need a little bit of gesso over the top? I think I might just go in with a tiny bit. Enough on the lid. Just to lighten that up. There we go. Just a little bit. Perfect. Lovely. Right. Pop that over there. Another quick dry. Perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get this ink off my hands and remove this, take this off the desk, and then we can start cutting some bits out. So 2 seconds. Okay, so there we go. That is just a little bit wet. Right, so what we are going to do, I've got all my little bits in pieces in here. So that's the one that I've just done. These are those. I've got this piece. This is one from an odd piece that I had to put in one of my journals, but I was thinking I might use that bit on the background because it goes with that one that I use, which looks quite nice, doesn't it? And then I'm going to use one of these. Now these are the little books. I want one of the little spines as well. So what shall we have? One of these little spines? That's quite nice, isn't it? Let's just pop that to the side a second. What shall we have? Okay, so let's just cut this out first. So let's get this. Cut that down. What do you think? Let's just eyeball this. Down there. A little bit higher. Not really. Let's go this way. About there, do you think? That's about right. Just a rough bit until about there. And then that can just sit in there inside. So that looks nice and shabby. They sort of match, don't they? Probably could put that. Not that I really need that piece. I can use those as little bits for my tags, can't I? So we need one of these books, these little book pockets. Now we've got that one, or I could have that one that actually comes up over. What do you think? Shall we just quickly give these a quick cut out? These are lovely. So this is like a little corner pocket. Just give this a quick fussy cut and see which one we would like to use. But I am loving these books. I think they are lovely. So again, did you get the Friday freebie this week? Because it's a little sort of book holder that you can use for your little books from the Friday freebie before. So what do you think? Pop that like that. That would look quite nice, wouldn't it? I think. And then we could just slide something in this side. And then maybe I could use a little bit of this. No, don't need it. I could actually do something. Now, one of you, I can't remember who it was now, asked me about making some little seam binding flowers. Seam binding flowers and colouring these seam bindings. So I will do that one. I'll probably do that one tomorrow actually, because I can use that in this video. In this journal, I mean. I'm just going to score down there because it's easier to bend like that. Bend that down, and that can just sit on there. So we're going to have a pocket there, and that's it. Perfect. Let's ink that up a little bit. Look, I've got a little white line down there where I didn't quite fold it or score it properly. Look at that, that's really nice, isn't it? I think that will look lovely. Now this one, I'm actually going to get my little, it says Crafter's Companion. It's just a sort of like a distresser for your paper. So if you just sort of like run it across your card or your paper, you can do that. But again, you can do this with scissors as well. You don't have to have one of these little tools. Because I normally do it with my scissors. I've got my big scissors here, and I just open them up and just rough along the edges. It does exactly the same thing. I've had a couple of these and I keep losing them. That's why it's got a little bit of ribbon on, because for some reason they get lost, or I probably sort of like throw them away. If I scoop up some of my bits and pieces to put in the bin, I think that's what's happened. It's got popped into the rubbish. So there we go. Ink around the edges. Now I will sew around this one because I sewed around this one. So I'll just go around that before I actually stick it on. But I think that looks nice, doesn't it? Let's do a little bit of inking around here. So if you didn't have a bag, then you could always use what could you use? You could use some Amazon packaging. I just love Amazon packaging. It's so handy. You can use tea or coffee stain paper that you have. You could even do it with an old magazine and then cover it with your book papers that you've got. So you don't have to have that pocket at the back. You could just have a piece of paper that just sort of like folds up over the top and then decorate it. And if you glued it onto your page just around the edges, you could have a pocket at the back. So it would sort of do the same thing. Okay, so that's lovely, isn't it? Right, what I'm going to do, let's see, I need to sew that around here. But what I'm also going to do, I'm going to take that off. Let's have a little bit of this pink. Pop it that side, and I'm going to pop this underneath. And I'm going to sew that on the sewing machine when I'm sewing around that. So this lifts out. I can sew on that bit because that just folds out because I've not stuck it down yet. So I will sew a little piece on there. Let's measure that. What do we need? Say about there. That's perfect. Now I'm going to put this on there. Shall I sew a little bit of this? Oh look, I've only got a little bit left. Just along there, I think, and stick that on top. What do you think? That's going to go underneath. That will look quite nice. And then what I've got, what I will do, excuse me, I will get some little seam binding flowers that we shall make tomorrow and pop them on there. And actually I could pop some on this one as well, couldn't I? Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's just cut this off. Pop that to one side. So I'm just going to quickly sew this. Sew that onto the back and that onto the bottom. We'll stick that one on in a minute. And then I'm going to sew around this before I glue it. So I will be back 2 seconds. Okay, so there we go. I have just sewn it on there. It's a little bit wibbly wobbly because the ribbon is, well, the lace is a little bit stretchy. So, but that's okay. Take these little bits of cotton off. Do think it looks nice though, doesn't it? Very sort of shabby, and that's the bit that's going to go in the middle. Pop that on there like that. Lovely. Let's stick that down before we make our little dingly dangly. Oh, that's quite nice as well, isn't it? So let's just stick this on. Just stick it down with the tacky glue. Perfect. Do you think so? Level? That's about right, isn't it? Let's stick that down. I like it to just go inside the pocket a little bit as it gets caught on there. So that looks good. Loving it. So look at that. They work really well together. So this one then will sit on there like that, which is lovely. Now I've got a little bit I was going to sneeze. I've got a little bit of this that I might, just so that they match, I'm going to stick this down first. Pop a little bit of glue gun on here, just like that. Take this and just stick that down. Go. And I've got like a little pocket there. Then a little bit, not very level, is it? Or is that just my sewing? This can just go along the bottom like that, and then it will match that one. That's very pretty, isn't it? Should we start this end? A little bit of glue. Stick that on. There we go. Perfect. Oh, sticky. Lovely. Let's go down this way. Let's chop that a little bit off. Look at that. So again, like I said, you can cover the back if you want to, but I'm going to stick it onto the page. So I could even make like a little notebook to go inside, or maybe I'll do that. Make a couple of little tiny little notebooks, couldn't we? But loving that. That's lovely, lovely. I'm going to now just stick these two side pieces down so that we've got that little pocket there. So I'm going to I'm going to glue gun it because it's quick. A little bit wibbly wobbly down there. And stick that down. I'm going to open that up so I don't stick it to that back piece. There you go. Take this glue out. Put that down. Can you see? So you've still got that pocket in there. Still got this. Not that you're going to put too thicker stuff in there because it's inside the journal, but that's lovely. Now, shall we make a little dingly dangly? So, loving these. This is just one of the book spines. So, I think I like this one. I think we'll have that one, shall we? Just a nice size, because look, it goes with this little one here. Oh, I wonder how... Oh, let's have a look. In here somewhere, I had one which I popped some resin on. I was just wondering what it looks like now, all under all of this. Let's see if that worked, shall we, if I can find it. Let's go through. Here it is. That's the one that I did. I popped some resin on there. I was just wondering whether the colour of the ink would from the printer would change, but it hasn't. So that would look nice hanging off there too, wouldn't it? Or you could have two. I'll do some of these as well this week, embellishments like that, seeing that one's worked. So I'm just going to cut this down like this. Perfect. These little spines are the same size, I believe, as our little books. Oops, just dropped one. Our little books that we had. So I think they are. So if you wanted to make some little books to go in your book holders, they would fit perfectly, wouldn't they? I do love those little books. So we're going to take one of those. I'm going to take a piece of card. This is just coffee stain card. Put this up here, that out of the way. Let's just get rid of those little white edges. Like that. Take some glue. Just glue it onto the piece of card. Doesn't quite fit that way, so I'm going to leave like just a little sort of border around the outside of it, like that, and then we can just cut this. I'm just going to cut that across. There we go. We can ink around the edge, and then can just make a little hole in the top and have a little dingly dangly. So you can leave that, pop a little bit of book paper on the back. I'm going to pop that on there so it dangles down there. Love it. That looks nice, doesn't it? Shall we make a little hole in here? Shall we do it with this one? Let's do it with this one. And then pop that in there. Make a little hole. Take that out. I'm going to make a little hole in here as well, so we can dangle it off there, just there in the corner, like that. Going to get a little eyelet. I've got these little white ones, and these will do. They're going to come through. Didn't cut very well. Oops, that's it. Pop that in there. I'm not very good at putting these in. There we go. Take our little crocodile, pop that in. Let me turn that around. That's on the wrong one, I think. Is that on the wrong one? Maybe not. Maybe that is the right one. I never know which ones go with which on these. Let's just squash that down. There we go. Pop one in here. Like that. You could probably use a brad or something if you wanted to. You don't have to put these little eyelet things in. You could just pop something else on there. I think little dingly danglies look quite nice hanging off there. There we go. So that will just hang down, and I'm going to use, where are they? There they are. I've got my little jump rings. I only need one. I did have one here, I think. Got a little ball pin. Oh, mess. I'm going to have another little tidy up, I think, in a minute. Let's just take this, pop that on there. Going to be big enough. There we go. Take our ball pin. Now again, a little seam binding flower or something stuck on the bottom of there would look pretty, wouldn't it? And then just hang that off, and look at that. Doesn't that look lovely? I think these are really, really pretty. So now I have two. So there we go, guys. Super, super simple. And then we can have a little card that can just slide in the side. So we've got a pocket there, we have a pocket there, and then we have the big one here. But I think I might make some little little notebooks to go in there. So we've got the pocket there, and we have the pocket there. So loving them. So that was a fun little project, wasn't it? And I'm just loving these. Now I did make some out of, I did have a video which I actually made the bags. So if I find it, if I remember more like, I will link that under the video, but I'm loving these. So there we go, guys. That's a nice little project. I'm just getting ready, as I said before, to make a new journal. So where are our little, so that was our little paper clips. I'll pop the link to these down as well. So all of this is going to go together. Absolutely fab, isn't it? And I've got these, and then I've got these ones from the side. So I just love them. I will be doing a video on these, which is super, super simple. So if you've got some UV resin, that's all I used. It's looking a bit messy on that one because I think I've been touching it so much, trying to see if it's working. But loving them. So I will be doing a few more videos on little bits and pieces, but I will do the seam binding flowers tomorrow, colour some seam binding, do some flowers, and then probably on Tuesday or Wednesday I will start making the journal. And I want to do it all in sort of like one sitting, if you know what I mean, so it's not a big long you know, I don't have to do too many parts on it, but we will see. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. All right, guys, bye-bye.